Hello everybody, welcome back to Sunday Berries. Today we are going to do something special that I believe it's crucial in order to make any painting in any medium, no matter what it is. And that is the color wheel. And before we start, I am going to let you know that today I have a little companion that is snoring right next to me, and that is my cat Lola. So if you hear the snores, please know that there's nothing I can do. When she sleeps, I have to respect that. Otherwise, I will have a little fiery black cat on my hands. So we're talking about colors. Knowing your colors is very important, and knowing the color wheel and the color theory is very important as well, because no matter which area or which media you are developing your practice, the color wheel is very important, and understanding how colors work is very important. Well, this is a topic that can be quite expensive. We're going to limit ourselves to talk about a basic color wheel with primary colors, secondary colors, and tertiary colors. Well, it sounds like really expensive. It's not, because there is a lot more, and from there it's quite really infinite. But it's really important to know how to understand the color wheel, and the best way to understand the color wheel is by making one yourself. So I'm hoping that you guys will do one. I'm sure most of you have done it and you have it, but to those of you who haven't, this is a great way to practice and learn exactly what happens with your colors and how to mix colors, which is key for any type of work. I am going to be working with my Daniel Smith palette, and all I've got are these colors right here. So among these colors, I have to select the best possible matches for what a magenta would be, a cyan would be, and a primary yellow would be, because we all know, this is like the base. When we are in kindergarten, they tell us this: primary colors, yellow, red, and blue. So as I was telling you, I am going to be working with this set. Obviously, it doesn't have the perfect primary colors, but sometimes we don't get that. So what we're going to do, it's among these three. Well, I would not categorize this as a primary yellow, because this is already turning into an orange. So let's say between these two, which one would be our best yellow for this wheel? And the only way to do that would be by testing them before we even start. So we have our Hansa yellow light, and this is what it looks like. And we've seen this in our swatch of these colors. And if you haven't seen that video, I am going to place a card right here for you to check it out. And the other one would be Hansa yellow medium, and this one is already pushing it because it's already a yellow that is pushing into that orange. So what am I looking at here? I am looking at a yellow that, although is warm, next to this one, it's pretty cool. So this would be my primary yellow. However, you can make your color wheel as you like it. If this is the yellow that you want to use, then go for it. I am going to select this one. But you can do a warm color wheel, and you can also do a cool color wheel. So those are two options that you can do. Now that we have selected our primary yellow, we are going to be looking at what we've got in terms of blue. We have the cerulean blue chromium right here, and we also have the ultramarine blue. In my case, let's try it out. Yes, my cat is snoring. Okay, so my blues are here with the cerulean blue, ultramarine blue. Now, putting them right next to each other. So I would say this one is cooler than, this one is warmer than this one. So I would take the ultramarine blue as my primary blue, because I am going with the cooler version. And I am not a very good teacher, but I'm going to try. And then we need a red, or really it's supposed to be a magenta, but in my case all I have is the Pyrrole Scarlet right here, which is a very warm red. And then we have our Quinacridone Rose. And this one, it's a lot warmer than the Pyrrole Scarlet. So in my case, I would be selecting this one as my primary red. It could be this one easily, but I would probably use this one along with these other ones. But we'll see, maybe I am making the wrong selection here, because this actually, yes, this one is cooler than this one is warmer. So we're going to stick to the cool palette instead of the warmer one. Okay, so I hope you can see the difference in temperatures here. Cooler, warmer, cooler, warmer, cooler, warmer. And sometimes you can tell also by association, is this moving towards a violet, or is this moving towards an orange? And to know that, you have to know your color wheel again. And for example, this one, I think it can move both ways, but it's almost going towards an orange. So this one is cooler, and this one obviously is moving towards that violet or purple, and so this one would be cooler. And here this is moving more like towards a green, than this one moving more towards a purple, so this one would be cooler, and this warmer, and this one would be cooler. And here the same thing. This one is pretty much neutral, but because it wants to do either a green or an orange, but it's moving towards the green more than an orange. And this yellow here is already on the verge of an orange. So they can both mix beautiful colors, but I will stick with this one because it's more neutral. And this is my selection for my primary colors. So now that we have selected the colors that we are going to be using, I am going to start with my yellow right here. And I am going to try to leave like a separation. I do not want to mix them together. Although you can do that, you can allow them to touch, and that would be just fine. And then it's my cat. Here we're going to do a little degradation if possible. I don't know how that's going to work, but it's been quite a while since I have done this, so please forgive me. I'm going to have to edit this to get all those snores from my cat out of the video. It is way too much. Mhm. Okay, so we have our yellow, and what I've done is leave 3 spots, and here we're going to go with our red and the blue over here. So we are going to go ahead and do the red there, and I have selected the quinacridone rose. I hope it's the best selection possible. So here we go with my quinacridone rose as my primary red. And I'm trying to be really careful here because, well, I want it to look nice. This is something that I want to have here for reference. So, yeah. And you know what I'm going to do? I feel like turning this, and I think I will do that. So we can get it really nice and even. The ultramarine blue. And I should let you know that this is absolutely not a perfect pie. So don't judge me. So here we have our first primary colors, and we're using Hansa Yellow Light. We are using quinacridone rose, and we are using ultramarine blue for this color wheel. So as I mentioned before, we are going to be talking about secondary colors and tertiary colors. So we need to have 3 spaces in between each of them. That way we can place our colors there, okay? And again, this is something that you don't have to do perfectly fine. I am trying to do to do something a little bit nice, but the idea is that you place a mass tone here, and then you do a gradient here. We are still allowing this to dry, but we can work with the secondary colors that we are going to place in between these 3 spaces right here. And we're going to start with the mix between the Hansa Yellow Light and the quinacridone rose. We are going to test this color to see if it's a good orange, and it is. So this is the one that we are going to locate right here in the middle. Oops! Oh my God. Okay, leave it alone. We're going to try and lift that color in a second. lifting. And now we're going to use a little bit of water. And we're going to lift. We can still use a little bit more water. And lift. And now we're going to continue here. And now that we have that one, we are going to take our red and blue and we are going to create a purple. And here goes our purple. We got a really beautiful purple out of this mix, and I'm really happy with that. We have also a very beautiful orange between these two. And now we're going to create a green between these two. I am sorry guys for having to keep turning and turning this wheel. I don't think I can get this any better. Let's start by saying that. I want to explain what we've done so far. We have our primary colors, which are the Hansa Yellow Light, Quinacridone Rose, and the Ultramarine Blue. And our secondary colors would be orange, purple, and green. So basically what we're looking at is, let's say, the baby from the Hansa Yellow Light and the Quinacridone Rose is our orange, and this one becomes a secondary color because they come from the primary ones. Between Quinacridone Rose and Ultramarine Blue together they make this baby, which is the purple, and between Hansa Yellow Light and Ultramarine Blue we get their baby, which would be the green. So we have our primary and our secondary. Now we're going to take a look at tertiary colors, which are the results of the combinations of a primary color and a secondary color. So in this case, we're going to be looking at the Hansa Yellow Light and the orange. Then we're going to get the first tertiary color, and then between orange and the Quinacridone Rose we're going to get the second tertiary color, and so on. So once this is completely dry, we are going to be looking at tertiary colors. So we're going to mix a primary with the secondary color. What I'm going to test here is my secondary color with a tertiary, which would be having a little bit more yellow than the actual color that we have. And I think this is pretty good. So I am going to go ahead with that one. And what we're seeing here, if you do it as a gradient, it's basically those in-between colors that form in a gradient. So here is our first tertiary. Now we are going to do the orange with the magenta. So this one will have a lot more magenta than the orange, but basically that is it. It's going to be closest to the magenta. Okay, this is harder than I thought. I haven't done this in so many years. So now we're going to move on to our quinacridone rose and our purple. And let's see what we've got. And that works for me. I am no teacher, guys, so you will forgive me if this is kind of rough. And now we are going to marry the purple with the ultramarine blue. And I think we've got it. Let's see. Okay, so we are going to work with the blue-green. And here we go. Maybe this one needs a little bit more blue. And it does, so we are going to fix this one, or try to fix it, because I didn't test it. So it's always good to test your colors before you apply, because this is what happens. And finally, we are going to go with, so let's try that. And this one works for me. We have our primary yellow, with which I used a Hansa yellow light. We have the quinacridone rose that I use as a primary red. And then we have the ultramarine blue that I use as a primary blue. Out of the yellow and the red, we got our first secondary color, which would be an orange. Out of the red and the blue, we have our secondary color, which is a purple. And from our primary blue and yellow, we got a green, a secondary color. Now, a tertiary color would be the ones in between, which is this yellow and the orange makes this yellow orange, and this red with this orange makes this orange red. With the red and the purple, we have another purple but redder, and with between the blue and the purple, we have a blue purple, and between the blue and the green, we get a blue green, and between the green and the yellow, yellow green. So from here, everything starts, and this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. And at the same time, that's why this color wheel is so important. From this point over, we have our warm colors, and from this point down, we have our cooler colors because there's more blue in them. Analog colors are those sitting right next to one another. For example, if you're going to make a painting and you want to use only, let's say, these three colors in the color wheel, that would be an analog painting. So complementary colors are those sitting opposite on the color wheel. For example, this purple would be the opposite of yellow, and this magenta would be opposite to this green, and they would be opposite. So red and green are opposites, purple and yellow are opposites, and orange and blue would be opposites. And why is this important? Because when you are wanting to neutralize a color, for example, I'm going to make this in another paper. If I'm using this ultramarine blue and I add, let me mix this color real quick, the orange, because I want to, I mean, I have orange in my palette, but I want to mix it so it's similar to what we have on the wheel. So if I mix this blue with orange, it's going to lower the intensity of that color. So it's going to neutralize it. And obviously, if we wait and then we go over it, it would be more noticeable, but for the sake of the video. So what you do is neutralize a color or make it moodier or make a toned down color. Complementary colors they are going to bring out the best of the other. But if they are too strong, both of them at the same time, it doesn't really work. What you want to do is use a lighter version of this color, which is by adding a little bit more water. And then if you want to use that magenta next to it, it's going to work better than working like this. And I don't know if you can see that. Let me just do it right here. If you put these two colors together, then it works better than having these two colors together, because there's one is dominant than the other, but they are still complementary colors, and that's the beauty of complementary colors. The color wheel is an exercise that everybody should do, not only to learn your watercolors, but also what happens when you mix what with what, and which colors I can work with a painting that is going to be nice to look at, and they will always work. So the exercise, to those of you who haven't done your own color wheel, is to do one. There are many ways to do it. This is the way that I know how to do a color wheel. It is not perfect by any means, but this is my color wheel. So yeah, and I've done this all with Daniel Smith colors, and the colors I used, and I will remind you, is as primaries, Hansa Yellow Light, Quinacridone Rose, and the Ultramarine Blue. So at the start of the video, I mentioned that I have 2 yellows, 2 blues, and 2 reds to work with. So what you can do is you could use, for example, the Hansa Yellow Medium, the Cerulean Blue Chromium, and the Scarlet Red, and it would be it would be the same. It's the same concept, but the tones that you're going to be getting are going to be quite different because they are all warmer colors. So basically we've done a cool watercolor wheel, and maybe the next time we could do the warmer one. The most important takeaway that I want you to take from here, it's learning that every color is born out of the 3 primaries, that we get secondary colors by mixing primary colors, and we get tertiary colors by mixing primaries with secondaries. Another thing to be aware of is that we have our warm colors and our cool colors. And what are those? Those are the ones that lean more to think of a fire, red, sun, just warm. And the cooler colors have a lot more blue than yellow. So that's the difference there. And also, we've spoken about what you can do with analog colors, which are, analog color is a color sitting directly next to each other on the color wheel. And this helps because you can create a painting using only analog colors, and it will always work out. I feel like a teacher trying to have, okay, so analog colors will always work out. It doesn't matter which color you choose. Even 3 colors can work out. If you want to do a warm painting, you want to look at these colors over here over this ones, and perhaps you can have, for example, using the colors over here and one from the cooler area as an accent. And we've also learned about complementary colors, and complementary colors are those sitting opposite each other. What that does is create a muted version or tone it down, or you can create browns, for example. And so this is very good to know and understand. So I hope I was clear. I do not pride myself for being a teacher because I am not. So I'm hoping that you have enjoyed this video. I hope that everything that I've said makes sense. Sometimes I am better in the doing than in the explaining, so I will try to polish a little bit, and hopefully in time. I'm trying to even get comfortable just talking to you guys. So everything is a process. I am trying to feel more comfortable when I'm doing this type of things. Trust me, I feel a lot of fear sometimes that I'm making mistakes, and I am just as insecure as the next person. So, with that said, here I present you my color wheel. I hope that you do yours and let me know how it went. I would love to know. And if you are a person that you're quite good with this color theory, then just share with us your tips and tricks, because that's always good to know, and that reinforces everything that I've explained today. And if I didn't catch something and I forgot to say something, then you can provide that little extra something for to complement the video. So with that said, my friends, please take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.